Good morning. Let's start the discussion. So the first topic is on health issue, the sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia (SCA), a genetic blood disorder found mentioned in the budget 23-24. The Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that the government will work on mission mode to eliminate the condition by 2047. Okay, so the government has launched the program to work on mission mode to eliminate the condition by 2047. So till another nearly 25 years to end this. India is the second most affected country in terms of predicted birth with sickle cell anemia. It is a genetic disorder. Okay, the chances of being born with this condition. Okay, so that means it is predicted birth with SCA. Chances of being born with the sickle cell anemic condition because it is a genetic disorder. Okay, that needs so special research to overcome it. What is the sickle cell anemia? In 1910, a physician named James Herrick wrote of discovering unusual red blood cell in an anemic student from Granada, Spain. Unusual because unlike their usual globular structure with an indented center like a donut with a hole, these blood cells were shaped like a sickle, similar to the letter C. You'll see the picture, the graphical will show it. Okay, you see, if you see this is normal blood cell is like this, healthy blood cell, but this is the sickle cell. This is what. And normal blood cell they are able to so they go for an unrestricted blood flow, but sickle cell block blood flow this way because they are set, so they obstruct the blood flow like this, and that led to many complications. So normal blood cell, sickle cell anemia blood cells, normal blood cell flow, and the flow of blood cells. Okay, with sickle cell blocking the blood flow. Okay, that led to so many complications. Okay, so unlike okay, so these blood cells were shaped like a sickle, similar to the letter C. This is the first description of sickle cell anemia in Western medical literature. Okay, so that was in 1910. Okay, since then research are going on to check it or how to provide the medication or treatment to these patients, this being a genetic disorder. Okay, how to check it so the impact would be less. Okay, to reduce its impact, research are on to find the care remedy for this. Fine. Hemoglobin, which is tasked with carrying oxygen to all parts of the body. Normally, hemoglobin carries the oxygen to all parts of the body. Four protein subunits, 2 alpha and 2 beta. Okay, this hemoglobin, which carry the oxygen to all parts of the body, has four protein subunits. 2 alpha protein subunits, 2 beta protein subunits. In some people, mutation in the gene that creates the beta subunits impact the shape of the blood cell and distort it to look like a sickle, like this shape, than the normal blood cell. A round blood cell can move easily through blood vessels. This can move easily in the blood vessels, but this one is difficult to move because of its shape. But sickle blood, red blooded cell end up showing and even blocking the blood flow. this get united, and this way it is they are able to block the flow of blood in the that blood vessel, creating lot of complications. Fine. So all this can be visible through this one. So normal blood flow through the blood vessels like this. But when it is a sickle cell, so they cause problems like this. Okay, as has been clearly made visible to you. Fine. So this is where so the problem starts. Okay. Moreover, sickle cell die early, resulting in a shortage of the red blood cell that deprive the body of oxygen. These obstructions and shortages may cause chronic anemia, pain, fatigue, acute chest syndrome, stroke, and host of other serious health complications. Without treatment, quality of life is compromised and severe case can become fatal in the initial years of life. Fine. That is what. Does sickle cell anemia only affect some? In India, past descriptions of this disorder, sickle cell disorder, came around in 1952 when researchers H. Lehman and Mary Katbush are studying tribal population in the Nilgiri of Tamil Nadu. Okay, this is more prominently prevalent among the tribals. Okay, and the first study was identified in Nilgiri in Tamil Nadu. The presence of the sickle hemoglobin was also reported around this time in tea garden workers of Upper Assam. First is Nilgiri Hill, second is the Upper Assam tea workers. Laborers who had migrated from tribal groups in Bihar and Odisha. That means most of the victims are tribal people. Or genetic disorder. And screening program have found that the prevalence of the hemoglobinopathy, okay, the blood is more common among the tribal population than non-tribal communities in India. Okay, so this is more common among the tribal population than the non-tribal communities in India. Research has shown that the sickle cell anemia is prevalent in communities residing in areas where malaria is endemic. Fine. So endemic means widespread. So research show that sickle cell anemia is prevalent in communities residing in areas where malaria is endemic. Around the middle of 1940s, doctors found that those with sickle red blood cell were more likely to survive malaria. This is a positive thing you can say. Person having sickle red blood cells are able to survive malaria, and this malaria in its severe form is unable to cause much harm to them. Those with the trait in some African country were found to be proportionately potentially resistant to lethal form of malaria and have a survival advantage. That means person having sickle cell anemia are able to survive the severe lethal form of malaria. Okay, and they enjoy advantage in this particular domain of surviving from malaria. Okay, so this is an advantage, but this disorder is very severe. Okay, it has severe impact. Let us discuss little more that the sickle cell trait thus give an evolutionary advantage, offering immunity to some people during malaria epidemic. That means those persons having sickle cell anemia get immunity from the malaria epidemic. Fine. Although they themselves are carrying or suffering from a genetic disorder, but so they have developed their personal protection. Okay. The sickle cell trait thus give an evolutionary advantage, offering immunity to some people during malaria epidemic. In India, states and union territories with tribal population contribute a significant malaria caseload. Okay. Okay. In India, states and union territories with tribal population contribute a significant malaria caseload. Additionally, the documented prevalence of sickle cell anemia is higher in community that practice endogamy, as chances of having two parents with sickle cell trait is higher. Endogamy means marriage within the community. That's a practice mostly among the tribal community in India. They practice the endogamy in marriage. That means they go for their own community marriage. Fine. Sickle cell anemia is a genetic disorder, making complete elimination challenge that requires a major scientific breakthrough. As I told you in the beginning, so it's being a genetic disorder. Okay, sickle cell anemia being a genetic disorder. Okay, so complete elimination is a very big challenge because it needs major scientific breakthrough. The only cure comes in the form of gene therapy and stem cell transplantation. Both are costly and still in developmental stages in countries like India. Fine. दरकार नहीं. Okay. So it is a genetic disorder making complete elimination challenge that requires a major scientific breakthrough. Okay. And two options available: one is gene therapy, second is stem cell transplant. Both are costly and still in developmental stage. This treatment are not available easily at all the places. So, and more research are needed in those two treatment domains for sickle cell anemia. Fine. In gene therapy, the DNA inside the hemoglobin gene is edited to stop the disease. While in stem cell transplant, the bone marrow affected by sickle cell anemia is replaced with healthy bone marrow from a donor. Both interventions are currently being tested in clinical trials globally. Fine. Okay, so blood transfusion. Okay, so wherein the red blood cells are removed from the donated blood and given to a patient is also a trusted treatment in the absence of permanent course. You see, when the absence of permanent cure, the what is being done right now, that the it is the blood transfusion at a regular interval. The patient suffering from sickle cell anemia, okay, they were given blood transfusion at regular interval. Okay, it is a trusted treatment in the absence of permanent solution. Till the permanent solution or permanent cure is available and affordable, not only available, two things. In this treatment, there are two one is availability of treatment, and second is affordability of the treatment. Okay, so research are going on this, and this is too expensive now. Second is not available at all places. So two big limitations. Fine. So easiest way out available at present is the blood transfusion. Okay. So, but challenges include a scarcity of donors, fear around safe supply to blood, risk of infection because when blood transfusion is done, so that particular group of donors must be available. Okay, so safe supply of blood is another factor. Then risk of infection because someone else blood is given to someone else, so there is possibility of infection in the patient. So all these are the challenges. But as this is the only remedy available right now, this is commonly rejected. So persons suffering from sickle cell anemia around the world and in India, the easiest way out given to them is, so going or recommending them or administering blood transfusion in them. Blood transfusion, although it is full, yet okay. So this is done because this is the easiest way out right now. Fine. Then what has India done so far? The Indian Council of Medical Research and the National Rural Health Mission, okay, in different states are undertaking outreach program for better management and control of the disease. The Minister of Tribal Affairs launched a portal wherein people can register themselves if they have the disease or the trait in order to collect all information related to sickle cell anemia among tribal groups. The National Health Mission. So what is this? So earlier it was NRHM, government launch, the National Rural Health Mission (NRHM), then the National Urban Health Mission, rural and urban, were launched separately. Both are combined to form the National Health Mission. Guidelines on uh, globinopathies also identified, establishing services at the community level for premarital and pre-conception screening backed by genetic counseling services as a strategy for addressing sickle cell anemia. Because if the parents are affected by sickle cell anemia, okay, so there is a possibility of this being transmitted to the future generation. So pre-marital, that means so community level for pre-marital. So before marriage, if they are suffering from this particular disorder, so they should be made aware. And post-conception, when the child is conceived, okay, screening back by genetic counseling services as a strategy for addressing the sickle cell anemia. If the parents are suffering from, parents or anyone in the family suffering from sickle cell anemia, there is a possibility of this being transmitted because this is genetically transmitted disease. Okay. So this counseling and awareness can to some extent lead to prevention. Genetic counseling involves creating awareness and advising two carriers about the risk of having biological children. If two carriers, both male and female, are suffering from sickle cell anemia, so they are not suffering but they are the carrier, right? So about the risk of having biological children. In the premarital counseling, partners are provided with the knowledge of how their sickle gene could affect the newborn baby. They are free to choose the path which is most comfortable to them. A genetic counselor will not tell the patient what to do. Okay, so this is in the budget. The government plans to distribute special cards across tribal area to people below the age of 30. The cards will be divided into different category. Okay, so based on the screening results. Fine. The mission will receive funding under the National Health Mission. Okay. So in the budget, the government plan to distribute special cards across tribal area to people below the age of 30. The card will be divided in two different categories based on the screening results. The mission will receive full funding under the National Health Mission. According to researchers, the card system will help to know the status of the patient, but at the same time, biggest worry is if it will stigmatize the individual. If the patient is issued the card, so it may stigmatize him. Okay, so that is a big worry because so in India normally what happened, okay, so people suffering from these disease will be ostracized, so they are suffering from sickle cell anemia, so their future generation will also suffer from the same issue. So society or the community will stigmatize them and they may suffer the social stigma attached to this particular situation. That is why so issuing the card is to create give them some facility or to make them aware, but it has its negative impact in the sense that this negative impact will lead to their isolation or stigmatization of those individuals who are suffering from this particular disorder. In one field research, a patient expressed concern that she was not getting a marriage alliance because she was a carrier. So her father tried to hide it. There is concern among the activists that a card only works to brand the individual as a disease carrier, alienate them, and blame the community for the spread. So if the person is given a card as a carrier, although disease not be manifested in him or her, but so being a carrier, so that is, and if it is declared openly, so then a lot of restrictions will be on her social alliances like marriage, which may affect her own personal life. This is a big challenge, but government to check this issue has started the mission, and government's target is to. Okay, so this community awareness is good to stop this disease, but this community awareness has a hindrance. It may ostracize the person. So we have to go for a balance between the two. Okay. So the second topic is again another health topic. Is there a need for extra dose of polio vaccine? So by administering the pulse polio immunization program, so India became polio free. Okay. So but recently, the West Bengal government announced that it was introducing an additional dose of injectable polio vaccine as part of the universal immunization program for children. Okay, so normally polio vaccine is administered orally. Okay, and the West Bengal government has decided to administer this an injectable polio vaccine, the additional dose of polio vaccine, which is injectable form, to check this particular disease, because West Bengal is the one of the state where some instances of polio have been reported. Okay, the state considered among high risk areas for polio announced that this dose will be given at 9 months in addition to the existing doses in the current Universal Immunization Program. UIP stands for Universal Immunization Program or Mission Indradhanush. So this one will be given as an additional dose over and above the doses given as part of the Universal Immunization Program, which are given orally. Additionally, two polio immunization days are observed in the country early each year, and in some states there are sub-national immunization day involving children under 5 years of age. An additional dose of inactivated polio virus (IPV) at 9 months will protect against any polio thereafter. Okay. What is polio? Polio virus can invade the center nervous system, and as it multiplies, destroy the nerve cell that activate muscles, causing irreversible paralysis in hours. Okay, this is the biggest impact on the healthcare of the children, and that make the child immobile. Okay, there are three types of polio virus stereotypes: type 1, type 2, type 3. According to India Polio Learning Exchange, along with the UNICEF, of these paralyzed, 5 to 10% die when their breathing muscles become immobilized. If the breathing muscles of the affected children are immobilized, then they die, but others became totally physically immobile. Fine, or locomotor disabled. There is no cure for polio, but there are safe, effective vaccine which gives multiple times protected a child for life. Polio held the world in the blind of fear until John Salk developed the first polio vaccine. Jonas Salk, remember this name? Jonas Salk invented the polio vaccine. Okay, later, Albert Sabin made a live polio vaccine that could be administered orally, which became the tool for the trade, especially for nations carrying out mass immunization campaigns, including India. In India, the polio eradication was successful because of the pulse polio immunization through the oral vaccination. Okay, the vaccine is given orally to the each and every child. Okay, that is through the government, and that was free of cost. That made the system quite popular, as well as it. Okay, so there are no cure for polio, but there are safe, effective vaccine which gives multiple times protect a child for life. Polio held the world in a blind, so until the Janaksal developed the first vaccine, and secondly, when Albert Sabin developed the oral form of the vaccine, it became quite easy to administer and became more effective. Fine. In 2012, the WHO World Health Organization removed India from the list of endemic countries. Seen as a massive achievement in public health, the campaign had begun years ago while Rotary International launched its polio eradication campaign in India. The polio pulse in 1985. It was in 1986 that it provided $2.6 million grant to Tamil Nadu for polio pilot polio vaccination campaign. Right. In 1995, the Indian government announced the first national polio immunization day. As per the India Polio Learning Exchange portal, the last case of polio virus type 2 case was recorded in India in October 1999 at Aligarh in Uttar Pradesh. The last case of polio virus type 3 was in October 22nd, 2010 at Pakur in Jharkhand, and the last case of poliovirus type 1 was recorded on January 13, 2011 at Howrah in West Bengal. So, the last case was in West Bengal. Okay, so there is a fear, psychosis in the mind of the person that still polio cases are maybe there in West Bengal. That is a cause of concern because the last one. As of October 2022, the WHO said only two countries worldwide remain with indigenous transmission of wild polio virus. Okay, so okay, so it is one is Afghanistan, the other is Pakistan. Remember these two names. So two neighboring country. Okay, so one is Afghanistan and one is Pakistan. Two India's neighboring country are still having polio virus or polio patients in them. This is why this is a cause of concern. It also recorded that so far 33 countries. Okay, so unprotected children. Okay, okay. So it also recommended that so far 33 countries have outbreaks of variant polio virus such as in UK, USA, Israel, and Malawi in recent time. So it has been reported recently in these countries. That is why it is a cause of big concern right now, because its new strains are being developed or have surfaced at some countries in the world. So it is a cause of concern for others. Fine. When it is resurfacing UK, USA, Israel, developed countries, so India should be very careful about handling its polio cases. Fine. Okay, so unprotected children are at risk of getting the disease. It is important to take the polio vaccine each time it is offered. The special polio campaigns and routine immunization. In the latter, the oral polio vaccine is provided at birth at 6 week, 10 weeks, and 14th week. Okay, booster could be factored in the 16th to 24th month. The injectable vaccine is given at 6 week and then another dose at the 14th week. In addition, West Bengal has now decided to administer a third injectable dose at 9 months as a extra precautionary measure, because the last case of polio was reported from West Bengal. So the government of West Bengal government has planned to go for a third dose as a compulsory dose as injectable polio vaccination. According to a paper published in vaccines in 2022, genetic variants of the vaccine polio virus type 2 imported from an unknown source were detected in West waters in Jerusalem, London, and New York in early 2022. The white polio virus type 2 was globally eradicated in 1999, but vaccine virus type 2 continued for 16 more years. Routine use of this vaccine was discontinued in 2016 and reintroduced occasionally on purposes, because when the virus was detected, this routine immunization was also being organized. Okay. Okay. So this is why. So these steps are extra precautionary measures are needed, because this has been eliminated from India, and as wild cases are surfacing from USA and Israel like and UK like countries, so India is to be extra cautious, because normally polio survives in hygienically poor areas, and India like Afghanistan, Pakistan also have some area which are hygienically too poor, so we have to take extra precaution on this issue. Okay. Other unintended consequences, type 2 vaccine virus variants, okay, vaccine derived poliovirus that mimic wild virus, contagious and neuro virulence have been emerging and spreading. He also pointed the theory of respiratory transmission of polio as per the classical teaching of polio epidemiology. People assume that virus transmission is via the facial oral route. But in London and New York, where there are highly standard of hygiene and sanitation, definitely virus transmission cannot be attributed to facial contamination, because those developed countries have higher level or much safer standard of hygienic guidelines. So when it is being developed over there or spreading over there or surfacing over there, so it is a big cause of concern, because something else might be the medium of spread of this particular disease in, okay, so these countries. Fine. What are the recent global polio crisis? According to a paper published at the Vaccines in 2022, genetic variant of vaccine polio virus type 2 imported from an unknown source were detected in West waters in Jerusalem, London, and New York in early 2022. The wild poliovirus type 2 was globally eradicated in 1999. The vaccine virus type 2 continued for 16 more years. Routine use of the vaccine was discontinued in 2016. As an unintended consequences, type 2 vaccine virus, okay, that mimic the wild virus, contagious and neurovirulence has been emerging and spreading, so that we have to be very extra careful about that. Fine. Expert recent events have shown how dramatically and rapidly global progress can unknown if the press is not maintained and vaccinate children. India has seen some setbacks, particularly in the area of immunization post the pandemic. In the post-pandemic period, during the pandemic and the post-pandemic period, the universal immunization program have been affected to some extent. In November 2022, at a meeting of the Indian Expert Advisory Group for Polio Eradication, participants discussed how India continue to maintain high population immunity, risk mitigation from polio virus, including containment and transmission of polio networks. Their suggestions will guide revised policy changes to ensure that India remains polio free. Okay. Then the next topic is about the that solar system, about the planet Pluto and its uh, status at present. Fine. Okay. Okay. So on February 19th, according to International Astronomical Union, our solar system officially have 8 planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Okay, Pluto is no more a planet, but between 1930 and 2006, it had 9 planets, including Pluto. On this day, it has been relegated to the status of dwarf planet, much to the chagrin of small section of the astronomers. Pluto was named as a dwarf planet. Fine. Planet X in 1906. Okay. Percival Lowell started an extensive project in search of possible ninth planet, Planet X. The existence of a ninth planet has been theorized by scientists in the late 19th century while observing uh, perturbations in the orbit of Uranus. Astronomers have speculated that some planet other than Neptune was behind observed disturbances in Uranus orbit by 1909, Lowell and his collaborators, William Pickering, suggested several possible celestial coordinates for planet X but were unable to prove its existence. The search for Pluto was paused for 14 years post Laswell's passing in 1915, resumed by Clyde W. Tombaugh in 1929 at the Laswell Observatory. After a year of searching, on February 18th, 1930, Tombaugh discovered a possible moving object on his photographic plates. After confirmatory photographs were obtained, the news of the discovery was teleprinted to the Harvard Observatory. Fine. So, interestingly, this was not the first time the still unnamed planet has been photographed. According to researchers, there are 16 known pre-discoveries of the planet, with the oldest dating as far back to 1909. However, none of the previous astronomers was able to realize just what they had seen, to be or not to be a planet. Pluto's status as a planet really fell into jeopardy from 1992 onward, when the Kuiper belt was discovered. Okay, a circumstellar disk in the outer solar system, the Kuiper belt contains over 1 lakh discovered small objects, diameter over 100 kilometer, all revolving around the sun beyond the orbit of Neptune. As more Kuiper belt objects were discovered, Pluto's uniqueness as a celestial object quickly diminished, because there are so many others like Pluto orbiting the sun. Okay, in 2005, astronomers at the Caltech announced the discovery of a new trans-Neptunian object, Eris, which was substantially more massive than Pluto. While some clamored for it to be called the 10th planet of the solar system, others saw it as the strongest argument for the reclassification of Pluto. Finally, in 2006, Okay, finally in 2006, the International Astronomical Union came up with a resolution that created an official definition of a planet. The resolution outlined three criteria that a planet must meet in order to be so classified. This is very important. Remember, what are the three parameters to recognize a celestial body as a planet? The object must be in orbit around the sun, criteria number one. The object must be big enough to be rounded by its own gravity. Correct. This is very important. Big enough to be rounded by its own gravity. Two. The objects must have cleared the neighborhood around its orbit. Number three. Okay. Objects must have cleared the neighborhood around its orbit. Fine. So if any celestial body fulfills these three criteria, then it may be included as a planet as per the new standard rules fixed. Okay. Okay, so after this, so lot of changes took place in the astronomical domain to make Pluto a dwarf planet. Fine. Pluto failed to meet the third criteria. Pluto is not gravitationally dominant. Its massive mass is substantially less than the combined mass of the other objects in its orbit. In contrast to Earth, which is 1.7 million times the remaining mass in its orbit, extending the moon, excluding the moon. For celestial objects that satisfy the first two criteria but not the third, the Indian Astronomical Union came with the classification of the dwarf planet. Those who are which are not fulfilling this, so those will be called as the dwarf planet. Fine. That is why. So the condition have been set. Okay. So how this will be the new parameter for identifying the planet. Okay, and how what changes will be initiated, or how this will change the common observation of individuals about the planetary system, the sun and the other planets in the solar system. Fine. Okay. However, this was not uniformly well received in the scientific community. Many felt that this was an arbitrary classification, while others were more emotionally involved. A bill was passed in California which called International Astronomical Union classification of Pluto to a scientific heresy. Many scientists have continued to refer to Pluto as a planet till date, even although it has been degraded to a dwarf planet, but many still count it as a planet in the solar system. The New Horizon flyby on July 14th in 2015, NASA's New Horizon spacecraft made its historic flight through the Pluto system, providing the first close-up image of Pluto and its moons and collecting other data that has transformed our understanding of those mysterious worlds on the solar system of outer frontier. The flyby renewed the debate around Pluto's planetary status as well as gave some of the most stunning images of the planet ever seen. Regardless of the classification, Pluto remained an object of fascination among the masses. Right. About the International Astronomical Union, the International Astronomical Union is a non-governmental organization. The International Astronomical Union is the foremost international association of professional astronomers. It has more than 13,000 individual members and 82 national members, including India. So its aims at advancing astronomy in all aspects, including promoting astronomical research, outreach, education, and development through global cooperation. It was founded in 1919 and is based at Paris in France. Okay, International Astronomical Union. Okay, so any decision in the domain of Earth and astronomy or the heavenly bodies, okay, its decision is taken very appropriately, okay, by the global community. Fine. Then the next news is about the Special Marriage Act. Okay, for several interfaith couples, including actress Swarna Bhaskar and her partner Faraj Jirar Ahmad, the choice to marry under the secular provision law is through the Special Marriage Act 1954. So their marriage is through the Special Marriage Act, not by their personal law. What is Special Marriage Act? The Special Marriage Act 1954 was passed by the Parliament in October 9, 1954. It governs a civil marriage where the state sanctions the marriage rather than the religion. Important. Special marriage under the Special Marriage Act, the state, the political entity, sanction the marriage rather than the religion. Religion sanction it is the that personal law. Muslim personal law, Hindu personal law. Okay, this is the personal law. Okay, the Special Marriage Act enable marriage between interfaith or intercaste couples without them giving up their religion, religious identity, or resorting to conversion. Okay, so what happens? So under the Special Marriage Act, couple married. Okay, so interfaith and intercaste. Interfaith means interreligion. Okay, and intercaste couple without them giving up their religious identity or resorting to conversion. But in case they want to marry on their own personal law, they have to change their religion. Okay, before marriage. But under the Special Marriage Act, no such requirement is needed. Okay, because this is specially passed to allow marriage among the interfaith and intercaste in the country. Right. Issue of personal law such as marriage, divorce, adoption are governed by the religious law that are codified. So every religion has their own religious law called the personal law. Okay, but the Special Marriage Act is something different and it is unique. Okay, in its own way. Okay, it facilitate the marriage of people from interfaith and intercaste. Right. Thus, laws such as the Muslim Marriage Act 1954, the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 require either spouse to convert to the religion or the other before marriage. As per the the personal law, so they have to change their religion before marriage. But the Special Marriage Act, there is no need to change their religion for the purpose of marrying each other. Fine. Eligibility. The applicability of the act extends to the people of all faith, including Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christians, Jaina, Buddhist across India. Okay, so the minimum age to get married under the Special Marriage Act is 21 years for the male and 18 years for the females. If they are 21 and 18, so they can marry. Fine. Effect on right: once married as per the Special Marriage Act, any member of an undivided family who professes the Hindu, Buddhist, Sikh, Jaina religion shall be deemed to effect their severance from the family. Okay, that is what. So their family they may not. Okay, this could affect right, include the right to inheritance of the person choosing to marry under the Special Marriage Act. Procedure for a civil marriage: the parties to the marriage are required to give a notice to a marriage officer of the district in which at least one of the parties are resided for the last 30 days immediately preceding the notice. Fine. Before Okay, before the marriage is solemnized, the parties and three witnesses are required to sign a declaration from firm before the marriage official. When the declaration is accepted, the parties will be given a certificate of marriage, which is essentially proof of their marriage. What are the objections? Okay, so the clauses of the objection to marriage allow any person before the expiration of 30 days from the date of the notice application to object to the marriage. If anyone from the family or anyone else, so they can give they can say raise their objections to the marriage, and that is what each the limitations set on the Special Marriage Act. Fine. If an objection has been made, the marriage officer cannot solemnize the marriage until he has inquired into the matter of the objection and is satisfied that will not prevent the marriage from taking place, unless the person making such an objection withdraw it. So that needs the person who has raised the complaint must. Okay, that is the condition over here. Recent court ruling in January 2021, the Allahabad High Court ruled that couples seeking to solemnize their marriage under the Special Marriage Act 1954 can choose not to publish the mandatory 30-day notice of their intention to marry. So that is better right now and more in favor of the uh, couples who want to marry. Okay. Then the next news is about the a political news about the symbol allotment by Election Commission, and this is in the recent Shiv Sena issue, because so in the recent case, so that the Shiv Sena both the factions, okay, have claimed for the symbols, and so that row continued for more than 1 year, and final Election Commission of India giving the original Shiv Sena symbol and name to the group, which is different from the Sindhya group than the original Thackeray group. Fine. The Election Commission of India ordered a political party to retain the official name and symbol of the party. What are the election symbol? An electoral or election symbol is a standardized symbol allocated to a political party. They are used by the parties during their campaigning and are shown on electronic voting machine in the polling day. They are introduced to facilitate voting by illiterate people. Why the symbols? Because in India, if many people are illiterate, they just cannot read the name of the candidates. That is why. So they can cast their vote only by looking at the symbols. Okay, that is why the different political party or the candidates are given the symbols, and they will that facilitate the voters to look the symbol and identify their candidate and cast their vote, because being illiterate they cannot read their name mentioned in the ballot paper or in the EVM, whatever it may be. The name is written in printed in the ballot paper and the name is imprinted in the EVM. And in both the cases, he or she being illiterate, so they cannot do this. Okay, that is why the condition that their participation in the voting is facilitated by the symbol allocated to them. Fine. They are introduced to facilitate voting by illiterate people. The allotment of symbol is supervised by the provisions of the Election Symbols Reservation and Allotment Order 1968. Okay, so Election Commission of India allocate this symbol, free symbols and reserve symbols. Reserve symbol for political party and free symbol for others. Fine. Thus, Election Symbol Reservation and Allotment Order 1968 provided for specification, reservation, choice and allotment of symbol at elections in parliamentary and state assembly constituencies. It also had provisions regarding the registration and recognition of political parties as state and national parties. The election symbol order also provided for resolution of disputes in case of involving split in recognized party or merger of two or more political parties. Right. Okay, so it distinguishes between a reserve and a free symbol. Okay, reserve symbol is one that is allocated to a political party, recognized political party. Free symbols is available to the allotted to the non-recognized parties and independent candidates during an election. Okay, so political party have reserve symbols and others. Okay, so non-registered party have free symbols and they work on that. Fine. And that also helps them in participate or contesting in the election. Fine. They contest in the election because it is for them that it became easier for casting their votes. Fine. So the free symbol is available to the allocated to non-recognized political parties and independent candidates, because in election in India, so uh, so many participate. Okay, and so even independent candidates also are allowed to participate in the election, and the independent candidates are allocated free symbol, whereas the recognized political party like Congress, BJP, Aam Aadmi Party, or whatever it will, Communist Party. So we have a national party, we have state party, we have recognized party, and we have other. Okay, that is what. Okay, dispute election symbols. The dispute regarding electoral symbol is resolved by Election Commission of India. In the Sadiki Ali another versus Election Commission of India 1972, the SC held that symbol is not a property that can be simply divided between two owners. The Election Commission power to adjudicate dispute regarding allotment of election symbol is drawn from Article 324 and the Conduct of Election Rules 1961. The EC had the exclusive authority to decide on issue over merger or split of a party. And this Shivaji news because of the recent split in the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra. Uddhav Thackeray led Shiv Sena and Sindhya led Shiv Sena. In Shiv Sena, in Maharashtra, one is the Sindhya led group, one is the Thackeray led group. Okay, so Bal Thackera's own family members, Uddhav Thackeray. Okay, so they want that the original symbol, okay, should be given to the archery, okay, be given to them, but it was allocated to Sindhya group. Sindhya group is a breakaway section from the original Shiv Sena, but majority are with Sindhya. So that is why Election Commission, after due deliberation, allocated the name and the symbol to the Sindhya group. So making it the original Shiv Sena. And the Thackeray group, although they are the familiar, they belong to the family of the Bal Thackeray, the founder of Shiv Sena, but they were not allocated this particular symbol. And this news was because of this recent development order of the Election Commission in Maharashtra. So that's why it is a point of discussion in today's daily current affairs. Fine. Where the party is vertically divided and is not feasible to establish majority through these wings, then the commission may freeze the party symbol and advise the faction to contest election under different names and with temporary symbols. If they settle their differences and unite, they may approve the commission again and seek to be recognized as a political party. Commission may even restore the name and symbol of the original party to what it feels is right, what has been done in the present case. Okay. Then coming to the question discussion, Developing infrastructure along the line of control is important to ensure border security and check China's incursion. Discuss the various measures taken by the government in this regard. Fine. Okay. So what is the question? Developing infrastructure along the line of actual control is important to ensure border security and check China incursion. Because recent past, so China since the Doklam issue, then the Galwan issue, China has started regular incursion to Indian violating Indian line of actual control. Discuss the various measures taken by the government in this regard. In order to counter the Chinese incursion, the government had decided to allocate substantial sum of money to improve facility in the places along the line of actual control. Okay, this will lead to project on border infrastructure and connectivity along India's 3,488-kilometer border with China, including ramping up infrastructure on the Indian side in Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh. These are the states sharing border with China, and government has a plan to create infrastructure on the Indian side in this adjoining area to China. So it will be people will get the benefit, and another is so rapid movement of the armed forces will be possible. Okay, so discussing more measures by the government for border infrastructure development, road construction in the last 5 years. The border road organization, the special construction wing of the defense, Indian defense, has constructed almost 1,000 kilometers of roads pan India, out of which 2,100 kilometers has been along the northern border with China. Arunachal Frontline Highway, which is a 200-kilometer long road that follows the McMahon line, will be the strategic importance to the military because it will lead to faster military movement. Then the Chushal Dungti Punch Damok Road in the Ladakh region is another one. The only La Pass in eastern Ladakh, built under Project Himank, is world's highest motorable road. Tunnel construction, two tunnels, Sela and the Nechipu tunnel are under construction in Andhra Pradesh for providing all other connectivity. The vehicular movement become difficult due to heavy snowfall during the winter, but this tunnel construction will facilitate the movement. Vibrant Village Program, the scheme will provide funds for the development of essential infrastructure and creation of livelihood opportunity in the eastern border bordering China. So this is declared in the budget called the Vibrant Village Program. It has been declared in the budget provisions. Okay, the plan is to upgrade 633 villages in Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh, and the Indian territory of Ladakh. Okay, what will be done? 633 villages. The infrastructure will be built. Okay. A new battalion of the Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force. Okay. The government will raise 7 new battalions of the ITBP. This means 9,000 personnel will be deployed. Okay. So 7 new battalions, around 9,000 personnel will be deployed along India's border with China alongside the army. Right. The Indo-Tibetan Border Police. Internet connectivity. Apart from road connectivity, the government is working to strengthen mobile connectivity by installing mobile towers in Tawang and other bordering area of Arunachal Pradesh for faster connectivity through the mobile and internet. Okay, infrastructure in friendly neighboring countries. The government is also focusing on the development of infrastructure in the neighborhood. For example, railway link to Nepal and Bangladesh, the Mahakali motorable bridge, and the Maitri Setu between Tripura and Bangladesh, and the Kaladan multimodal transit transport project, which includes a 158-kilometer waterway. Okay, so that is also called the this infrastructure development program. The government is also developing South Asia's fast cross-border petroleum product pipeline between Motihar in India and Gunj in Nepal. For a very long time, China, through its Salami Chiang tactics, has been claiming parts of Indian territory which are devoid of human settlement. The infrastructure development along the LSC will help in integrating this area with the hinterlands so that from Indian side people can move. This will also create a positive perception in the mind of the people and will encourage them to settle in border areas leading to safe and secure borders, because China normally target the area which are uninhabited, where there is no population present. Okay, so if the infrastructure are built, so why population are not there? Because so this is okay. So the government is also developing South Asia's fast cross-border petroleum product pipeline between Motihar in India and Amalgam in Nepal. For a very long time, China, through its salami slishing tactics, has been claiming parts of Indian territory which are devoid of human settlement, and government of India want to create infrastructure border area that will facilitate settlement of people. And once people settle there, it will be very difficult on the part of China to infiltrate to those area or incursion to those area. Then coming to the MCQs of the day, okay, the reference to, okay, so the sickle cell anemia is due to mutation in beta globin gene. The sickle cell anemia is a genetic disease common in tropical and subtropical countries. Okay, so as you all know, sickle cell anemia is raging issue. It is a genetic disorder, and in this case, both the options are correct. So answer will be C, for both 1 and 2 are correct. Then with reference to polio, okay, consider the statement polio is transmitted through the facial oral route. India is not yet declared polio free. Okay, India has been declared polio free. Okay, first one is correct, but second one is wrong. But WHO declared India polio free. Fine. That is why option 2 is incorrect. Then 3, Pluto is known as a dwarf planet because which of the following reason? It has a negligible mass. It has not nearly round shape. It does not have always same neighboring planets. All of the above. Okay, does not have always the same neighboring planets. Fine. The third criteria. So C the right answer. Then with reference to the International Astronomical Union, consider the following statement. It is the global authority for naming planetary features in the solar system. Okay. So which International Astronomical Union? Its mission is to promote and safeguard the science of astronomy in all its aspects, including research, communication, education, and development through international cooperation. Okay. So here both 1 and 2 are correct. Fine. Answer is C. Then Special Marriage Act 1954 often mentioned in news with reference to SMA. Consider the following. It promotes communal harmony. Okay. It supports communal harmony, interfaith marriage, strict endogamy, intercaste marriage. So which of the above does the Special Marriage Act not support? So it never go for strict endogamy. So 3. That means option D is the right answer here. With reference to an election symbol, consider the following statement: two state party can have the same election symbol. So, okay, two state party can have the same election symbol. After split in a political party, the election commission has the power to decide which faction of a party may get used to the allotted symbol, which is correct. Two state party can have the same election symbol, so it's unlike, so only two is correct. Answer is B. Okay. Then New Horizon is an interplanetary space probe that was launched by Roscosmos. No, it was launched by NASA of USA. One of the goal of this mission is to understand the Kuiper belt. That is right. So two is correct, but one is incorrect because it is not by Roscosmos with the Russian agency, but by NASA of USA. Then consider the following animals: uh, hedgehog, hedgehog, marmot, pangolin. Okay. To reduce the chance of being captured by the predator, which of the above organism roll off and protect its with vulnerable parts? So only 1 and 3 are correct. 2 is not. Okay. So with reference to Munich Security Conference, consider the following statement. It is an annual conference on global security issues, which is correct. And second, it was founded by European Union against the backdrop of Russian-Ukraine war. No, it was founded much before. It was founded in 1963. Okay, not the present period. This was founded in 1963. Okay, and it normally debate on what's most relevant security concern. What it discuss? What's most okay relevant security concern are discussed at the Munich Security Conference. Okay, so for this only, so one is correct. So A is the right option for question number 9. Fine. Then coming to question number 10. What's the following statement? The National Social Assistance Program is administered by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. No, it is by Ministry of Rural Development. So which ministry looks after this? Ministry of not Social Justice and Empowerment, but Union Ministry of Rural Development. Okay, the scheme target the elderly, widow, and person with disability from the BPL families. That is right. So your answer will be B. Right. This way, today's discussion on developments along with your MCQ and long answer is complete. Hope you get the benefit. Watch every day at this particular time to upgrade yourself. Thank you for being with us.